Welcome back, everybody. I'm Sean LaFlock. I'm here with Scotty Hagnes. This is Conversations, Fitness, Wellness, and Longevity. Scotty, how goes it?
Hey, it goes pretty good.
Rocking the old. What do we got? What's the apparel here today, Scotty?
Oh, this is an old Bike Jam shirt.
I was going to say, man, that looks like a classic.
Yeah, it's an older one, but I have so many that they don't get worn very frequently. So
Yep.
Still pretty fresh, actually.
When I got home from Wodapalooza the other day, I had I usually have about 30 shirts that I kind of rotate through of my stack of workout shirts. And I kind of looked at it, I'm like, I'm getting rid of half of these. I don't need them anymore. So I'm like, I donate them. There's a part of me that says like, oh, there's sentimental value to it, but I'm like, I'm never going to wear this.
Right, yeah. How many shirts can you collect? Yeah,
I know,
have a few sentimental type shirts taking up space. I got my closet is so packed.
Yep. So Wodapalooza has come to an end. Kind of give you a little bit of a rundown on what happened and, some of my athletes and that kind of thing. But it was overall, from what I've heard, they actually hired or collaborated with a company to put on the event, like an event planner kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt that there was certain things that were noticeable that weren't the same years before. So for instance, or just to kind of give you an analogy, it's like getting into like a brand new Kia, and you're like, oh wow, this car looks great, and then you get in, and then you kind of like feel around a little bit, and it's like almost like it's almost like tacky. You're like, this doesn't look quite right, and then you get into like a Mercedes-Benz, and you feel around, you're like, this feels right. There were just certain things that didn't feel right about the competition, and one of them was the prizes at the end, like seeing what they gave. So obviously there's cash prizes, which again, like that's awesome, but like just little things about the giveaways and that kind of stuff. And they didn't give out, like every year they usually do Reebok shoes and they do shorts and a shirt. And they do it right. It's really, really nice. And then even for the elite competitors, they would give them custom Wodapalooza shoes for the elite category, making it extra special. This year they gave everybody the same shirt. Like it was like a kind of a jersey-ish type thing that said Wodapalooza on it, but it was like it had your name on it or your team's name on it, and that's pretty much all they gave you. And then there's some giveaways from some of the companies that are participating as sponsors or having booths and stuff like that. But just that little thing there kind of personified the little bit of a downturn of the competition overall. The 7K, like the announcements weren't great, so I think that people are kind of a little bit tired of doing this for 7 years. There's not as much spice. Some of the workouts just weren't well thought out. Like there was a sled workout that everybody did, and they didn't think through the fact that the sled wasn't going to fit on the stage, so it kept hitting the rig. It was so slippery on the stage that people had to take their shoes off to actually push the sled. So that led to a whole host of dangerous kind of stuff.
Man, yeah.
So that was brutal. There were people cutting up their feet. There were bruises on their feet. It was just nasty when it came to that workout. And again, it's something that like, hey, like you had an entire year to plan for this, and this is the best you can do. You put a sled on a stage. It was too slippery. There was one instance where they pushed the sled off of the stage, and it actually almost hit somebody. Give me 2 seconds there, Scotty.
Oh, man.
Hey there, how can I help you?
I just wanted to find out about what you do
Okay.
and whether an old guy like me could do it.
All right. Give me 2 seconds, Scott.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
worries.
I'll help you right now.
Oh, I thought you...
No, I was talking to those who I was talking to. All right, so CrossFit. Have you ever heard about CrossFit before?
I have, yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay, cool, perfect. So at CrossFit Delray Beach, anybody who's trying it, have you ever tried it before?
No.
Okay, it's first time. So anybody who's tried it for their first time, they come to our intro class. Our intro class is on Tuesday nights. Mm-hmm. It's free, and it's at 7 p.m. You come in, you give it a shot. If you like it, you can sign up. In that intro class, we're going to teach you all the basic movements of CrossFit: the squat, the deadlift, the press. We're also going to go over any scaling or limitations that you might have. So if you're like, hey, I can't do XYZ, I can't do this, we go over it. We make sure that you're going to be doing this safely and appropriately, so that when you get into the regular classes, you have an idea of what's going on. We're also going to go through a workout as well to show you kind of what the intensity is and what our style of CrossFit is about, because we're different than any other CrossFit you're going to go into. And like I said, from there, if you like it, you can sign up. Right now, we're doing a special, $99 for your first month. There's no sign-up fee. There's no enrollment fee. There's no ongoing whatever. It's $99. If you like it after there, you can go into our regular memberships. All of our memberships are month to month. You give us 30 days notice. You can cancel at any time. We also offer a boot camp here. That's $79 a month. The difference between our boot camp classes and our regular CrossFit classes is that the boot camp doesn't have barbell movements. There's no barbells. It's dumbbells, kettlebells, body weight movements. It's a little bit more keep going. Whereas our CrossFit classes, there's a little bit more technique involved. There's strength training. And there's also obviously metabolic conditioning as well, like going hard, so to speak.
And if we're in a class other than the beginners, this introductory class, there's an ability to go at my own pace?
100% at all times. There is a coach in every class that puts you through the entire workout. Our class sizes are usually between 6 and 10, and our mornings are a little bit lighter than in our evenings. Our evening classes usually range between 8 and 12, and then our morning classes usually 6 and 10.
And a class is 45 minutes?
1 hour in length. Everything soup to nuts. You go through your warm-up, you go through your technique and strength work, and your conditioning all in that 1 hour. We do have a change room and shower here as well, so if you're coming to or from wherever, you can use our facility.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll try to come Tuesday night.
That'd be great. What was your name?
Tom.
Tom, very nice to meet you. I'm Sean. I'm our head coach and owner here.
Thanks very much.
Take care, Tom. Hey there, Mr. Scotty. You got to hear my.
That was cool. I got to hear the whole pitch and how you guys do it.
My 2-minute pitch.
That was a pretty good elevator pitch there. That was
not bad. It seems like I've been doing this for a couple of years, huh?
Yeah. It seems like.
So Wodapalooza. So it felt a little tacky to me. You know what I mean? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, totally. Yep. I was like, I've experienced things that kind of went that way in other domains, but yes.
Remember the OC Throwdown?
Yep.
Okay, so it was the coolest thing on the block, and then obviously the whole Kevin Ogar situation happened. They try to save face by making it a little bit fancier or doing too much, and all of a sudden it lost this luster. And I'm thinking that this is the tipping point for this competition. So I precede all of my commentary about the competition with that statement that I have a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. So first workout of the weekend was the 7K run. Well, the way that they did it is they did a 7K run, and then in the middle of the 7K, they had a 1 mile sandbag run.
It was embedded in the middle.
Exactly. So first things first, Biscayne Boulevard hosts the ING half marathon. You have the ability, if you speak to the city, you can get the entire block shut down for X amount of time to do a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon. But obviously, there's probably going to be a permit that you have to buy and shut down a block. There's all sorts of stuff that you probably have to do. I can imagine, right? A lot of hoops logistics to jump through. In my mind, I think what happens is they don't want to jump through those hoops. So they say, okay, we're going to run it on the street, through the park, through whatever, so that we don't have to do that. But then the problem becomes is that you're now running with pedestrians on a street. So now your competition that you're trying to standardize, you're doing it with everyone else in the world. You know what I mean?
Someone's walking their dog and you got to go around.
It's like saying, we're going to do a swim meet and it's during public swim. You know what I mean? Like everybody's going to kind of get in the way. So, I mean, I get it. They're trying to minimize costs as much as possible. They're trying to keep it cool. They're trying to get it off-site a little bit. They're trying to also throw in a real endurance event. But, it's just challenging. There's so many volunteers that are needed. The time that we had to do it, it was supposed to start off at 5:30. It was a little after 5:30. We start the course. By the time we get underneath the bridge, there are, there's a bunch of homeless people underneath the bridge still that are still sleeping. You're running by them. I mean, I have no problem with that, but I'm just saying it's like you're trying to run a legit competition and you have these things going on. So I mean, a little bit of foresight would have seen what was going to happen. And again, like they've done this route before, they should know this is going to go on, or at the very least, check out the route before you do the event. We get to the park. There's a sandbag run. The rec bags, there's not much of an issue there. I didn't really have a problem with that. Get through the sandbag run, then on to the rest of the 7K. And then as we get back to the park, there was no volunteers down in the certain area where you had to do a turnaround, and then a bunch of people got lost, ended up running about a half a mile extra. And then not only did I have to run a half a mile extra, that I didn't go over the checkpoint and didn't actually get a score there. So I ended up having to run through the park to get back to the finish line because I had no one had an idea where to go. I'm running up and down the street yelling, "Hey, can somebody help? There's no one to direct us where to be." From the volunteers that I heard, I talked to a volunteer afterward, and they said that was not our responsibility. That was the event staff. That was not us. So the event staff is obviously paid people. The volunteers just volunteer. So it's not like someone volunteered and didn't show up. It was part of the event staff that wasn't where they were supposed to be at the time they were supposed to be there. In which case, I mean, I get it, but someone's got to own up to that. So I got a DNF for the 7K and the rec bag. You put in the way it works is you email in a dispute, then it's taken care of, on their end. So it's, done without any kind of emotion or riled upness, right?
Uh-huh.
So the rest of that day went okay. The second workout, I believe, was the way they set it up, it was like the assault bike. It was a muscle up power snatch assault bike, 3 rounds there. So not much of an issue on that one. Everything really went pretty well and was it was a good workout. It was challenging. I didn't have much in my legs after that 7K in the morning. For one, I was trying to make up ground and also just being emotionally charged at that time in the morning. And then the last one of the day was the 35 wall balls with a 30-pound wall ball, 25 toes to bar, 15 burpee box jump overs, 25 and 35. So it was a challenging workout. I think I paced that fairly well and was able to place in the top 6 on that workout. And the same thing with the second workout. I think I placed 6th or 7th or something like that. But overall, after the first day, I thought I did very well. By the end of the second day, they had posted the scores for the DNF, and they gave me like a 3rd or a 4th on the 7K, but they had a 41st place on the rec bag run. So at this point, it's a day later, I sent in another dispute saying, hey, this wasn't the case. So the next morning I come in, hey, I didn't get a confirmation if you guys got my dispute yet we're still working on the rec bag stuff. Don't worry, it's not done yet. Okay, no problem. So the second day started off with the swim. So it was 200 meters swim. Then the sandbag, cleans, and then a sandbag carry, and then it's 150 air squats after the swim. Then the sandbag cleans and sandbag carry. So I practiced the sandbag work in the gym, and it was different when we got to the actual event. They had different sandbags, so they did these straight.
How heavy were these sandbags?
150-pound sandbag cleans. In the gym, I was killing it. But what happened was the sandbags that they were using within the workouts, they were a little bit different, so they were longer, so the middle kind of collapses in.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
They're wet at this point, so obviously the sandbag is heavier because they're just soaking up everything and turning it into cement. But then the other thing that happens is the sandbag starts to rip. So a lot of the sandbags were ripping. And again, this goes back to the event planning. It's like,
were they at least getting lighter? I would say, were they at least getting lighter at that point?
Yeah, they were taping them, like kept taping them. But it's like there's a company that came in and they're called like Strongman bags or something like that, and they were falling apart. It's like how did you have this happen? Because the year before they used Rogue, there was no issues with it at all. And now I guess what happens is, a company comes in and says, hey, we want to use our sandbags, we'll give them for free. And they do, and they suck. There were sandbags that were literally exploding, and the people are like, yo, what am I supposed to do now? So it kind of sucked in that sense. You know what I mean? It's just like one of those things.
It's like a mess.
You didn't really need to do that. Like, you didn't have to put the sandbag work with a swim, because the deck is wet. There's just a lot of stuff that can go wrong there. And then why get sandbags that are not quality? Like, spend the extra money, It's not that much money for sandbags. It is what it is. And then the event.
At least
Say that again, Scott.
that's one thing. That's right. I mean, the only thing I think I've ever seen was in maybe the 2011 games when they had those wheelbarrows that squashed flat a few times.
Yep, I know. No, I know. Noah's actually collapsed. So they did it twice, I believe. So they had the heavy duty ones. Oh yeah, there was one year they did the heavy duty, and I think people. The first year they just used regular freaking wheelbarrows and they just collapsed. Yeah. And then they used like the rogue heavy duty ones and they were better. And obviously they thought it through and rectified their, like they made good on their decision. Then the evening workout was a chipper. So here's another thing. The true forms, they get true forms. There's, 24 true forms that they're using. Mm-hmm. And they realized like the monitors, like I guess you can't see them in the light. So they just shut the monitors off, put a piece of tape on the true form, and you ran and they counted the number of revolutions on the true form until you were done. So it's just like
true form for reps. Jeez.
So here's the thing. If I were to tell you, okay, you're going to run, but I'm not going to tell you how far you've gone, you're going to lose your mind, and it's very difficult to pace. So that was the case for me. I didn't know where I was. Yeah. And it's just like, you know what? I'm going to Wodapalooza. We paid all this money. I would like my equipment to work. That's all I ask. It's not like I'm looking for a special treatment. It's just we're looking for the equipment to like do what it's supposed to do. So did
they like have like you have to run it's 200 repetitions?
It was 45
whatever.
repetitions that we had to run. You know what I mean? But again, it sucks because you have no idea where you are.
Well,
it's to the discrepancy of the person counting.
All right, and they maybe are just going to put their arm up when you have 5
rotations
to go or something.
That's what they did. I mean, again, like if everybody has to do the same thing, I get it. But again, I'm talking about if this is a quality competition, figure that out ahead of time. Why get true forms if you're not going to be able to use them like true forms?
Yeah.
So that workout was it was supposed to be a 150-meter true form run. So it ended up being 45 revolutions on the true form, then 50 deadlifts at 185, then true form, then 40 ring dips. Ours, because we were in intermediate, was 20 ring dips and 20 push-ups. From there, it was back to the true form, 30 dumbbell squat snatches with 60 pounds. True form, 200 weighted double unders with a like the RPM weighted jump rope run, and then it was supposed to be a handstand walk, but because they put it on the stage and there was a rig in the middle of the stage, they said we're not going to do a handstand walk because it's too dangerous. So you're going to do a single arm dumbbell overhead carry. Lunges. So again, something that if some people thought about ahead of time, you could put it on an area where you could actually do the workout as prescribed. But instead of that, they put us on the stage and did single arm dumbbell overhead walking lunges. That wasn't the worst, offense of the weekend, but it was just annoying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Another little thing that just keepes adding up.
So far, it sounds like only one workout's gone off without a hitch. Really.
Yeah, the assault bike one was fine.
Assault bike one, yeah.
That was fine. I didn't really have much of an issue with that, except they had put on the website one weight, and then it ended up being another weight. So they put 115 and it ended up being 95 pounds. So it was a little different. Anyway, so that workout that I definitely paced that incorrectly. I went way too hard on that workout. The swim workout, I ended up finishing 3rd overall on it. Swims were great. The limiter for me was just being able to throw the sandbag, like the 150 pounds, it's just heavy. Especially because I hadn't gotten exposure to using that kind of sandbag on a clean. The chipper in the evening destroyed me. I went way too hot and was suffering about 3 minutes into the workout. And I was like losing it on the second to last true form after the squat snatches. When I got to the double unders, I think I did a set of like 30, and then I just did 10s from then on out just to kind of recover. And then I got back on the true form. The one after that, I was like, okay, I finally recovered. And then by that time, I was like thinking 8th place or something like that. So I think I finished 8th out of like 40 people on that one. So again, like after that workout, I was like, you know what? I'm going to play my own game. If people want to go hot in the beginning, let them go. I just got to play my game. I can't go hot and spike my heart rate. I can't recover. Mm-hmm. So I definitely learned that lesson there. The first workout in the morning, the next day was the sled push. So it was 36 pull-ups. Then it was a sled push of 100 feet. The sled had like 745s on it, but again, it was more of the fact that the surface was slippery.
Slick at some point.
So I kind of bucked it and then got it moving. So I didn't have much of an issue moving the sled, luckily. I did it barefoot, which didn't feel great on my balls and my feet. 36 pull-ups, sled push. Then it was 18 chest to bars, sled push. The chest to bars, I think I did in 2 sets, maybe like 10, 7, 1. And then the push, and then I finished off with 9 bar muscle ups. I did those unbroken and did the sled push, and I think I finished in the top 6 on that workout. Sled push was a bit of a hassle, and then at the end I was trying to save time and kind of slid at the end. I thought I was going to slide, and I just dug in, and my hip just I didn't really realize how bad it was at the time, but I kind of bruised my hip, and I walked off. Ow, this is kind of painful. And then that thing got progressively worse over the next 5 hours, and I was barely able to put any weight on my left leg. So I was trying to not knead it out. I was trying to stretch it, the whole thing. And, of course, the last workout ends up being that barbell complex that I had done from 2015. So it was the 225. So it was 3 power cleans, 3 front squats, 3 shoulder overhead. Then you go up to 245, 2, 2, and 2, and then 265, 1, 1, and 1. So I did the 225 unbroken. I did the 245, missed the jerk on the last rep. So I cleaned it and then jerked it. Again. And then I had about 2 minutes left to do that last bar and kind of just mustered it up. And I hit the hang clean on 265. And then I called it. The concentric was maybe 8 seconds. And I was like, that's good. I got one more rep than I did in 2014, 15, whatever that was, 15 probably. And I was like, that's good. I'll call that there. Be able to change my shoes out and get into the next part of the workout. And they gave you the last part of that workout was 28 bar facing burpees, 5 rope climbs to about 20 feet, and then it was 21 thrusters with 125. So this is a workout I knew I could just pace and do well on.
Nice unusual weight there.
Yeah, it was just a good classic CrossFit workout to kind of finish off on. Good combination of movements.
And this one started right after the other one.
Exactly. So they had like a 1-minute transition, then you got to it.
Right.
So after doing the clean stuff, I was like, okay, that was about as good as I was going to do because my left leg was just toast. Like I couldn't put any weight on my left leg. I was hoping to be able to finish the complex, because I did it in training, but it is what it is. Given the circumstances, it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So the 28 bar hop burpees just cruised through, got over to the rope, started doing the rope climbs, got a little tangled up just because just a little bit different than what I'm used to in terms of the rope. And then went over to the bar, did 7 thrusters, dropped it, rested about 10 seconds, 7 thrusters, and then 7 thrusters. The fact that I did 265 on a clean and then did a 125 thruster, obviously the thruster felt pretty easy. But if I were to do that workout again, I would have gone a little harder on the rope climbs, knowing that the thrusters were going to be a little bit easier because they weren't that bad at all. And then finished out, and I think I finished another top 6 on that workout, I believe. So, I think it was like, let's say 9 workouts. I finished in the top 6 on 7 of them. One of them was a 41st finish, and the other one was the clean complex where I think I finished 28th. So I ended up finishing fifth place overall. If I actually had a score on that rec bag run, because they gave me 7 points for it, if they were to give me a top 6 on that, which I probably did, I would have been on 3rd on the podium, but there's all hearsay and you never know.
Yeah. Well, sounds like you got through pretty good in spite of the all the snafus there.
Yeah. I did the best I could. I thought a few things, kind of reflecting on it now, that I can be grateful for is my sleep was actually pretty good throughout the weekend.
Nice. Yeah, 'cause that's always been a big
stress management, sleep, that kind of stuff. My back felt great the entire weekend.
Oh, another big fix over the years, right?
Yep. And then kind of the awareness of pacing and knowing what I can and cannot do. So by the end of that weekend, I was like, you know what? My game is not going hot. My game is staying the course, breaking it up right away, and just pacing it out. And, going forward, I'll take those ideas and put it forth in my own training. But it's challenging to lose workouts. You know what I mean? You want to win workouts, and you can't win workouts by coming all the way from behind all the time. But that being said, you're not going to win every workout. So you got to kind of know the workouts you can go after, know the workouts where you just got to take your medicine and just do the best you can for that given workout, and not try to do too much. Not do too much and jeopardize your innate performance on a workout.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Kind of pick your battles where a really, really hard effort's going to benefit you the most, and where staying within your capacity and, not overdoing it on something that your best effort's still not going to give you the, a great finish.
Yeah. I went after it on the run. I definitely did. And I think I did. I think I did pretty much as good as I could on there. It's just
that could be a strength, so that makes sense.
Yep. Then that's what I was going in to do, because I knew there would be a swim. I knew there would be a run. I was like, you know what? I really want to smash those workouts. And I did. And unfortunately, one of them, they didn't really allow me to show off my ability to do that thing. So when you look at the grand scheme of the workouts, I didn't get to share that piece as well as I would have been had I had scores, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I know you were down in were you down in Palm Springs again? Where were you?
No, Redondo Beach.
Oh, that's
Newport
right.
Beach. So down in the LA area.
LA.
Yeah.
How was that, Scott?
It was awesome. That was really one of the more fun trips and vacations I've had. And I've ridden, 30 years, and it's probably the best riding trip I ever had. The weather was awesome.
Yeah.
The guys we stayed with were super good hosts. We got to ride with so many people, guys I hadn't seen for years, pros from overseas. We just, pedaled around, rode. I got about 15 hours of actual mix in over the course of the week, and plus a number of hours of bike commuting, which I always forget how hard riding hills on those little bikes are, because I don't ride hills on them around here. But
yep.
So
That's sick. That's sick. And how long were you there for?
8 days.
8 days. And out of those days, how many days did you ride?
7. The only day it was the day we packed up and flew back.
Yep.
Even the day we flew down, we got in some riding. So, I took one day as most of a rest day after 3 really hard days, including there's a pre-jam, jam. The next day was a post-jam.
Yep. Did you do any filming while you were there, Scott?
I did actually. When I filmed, actually my buddy filmed the jam. I and he filmed post-jam stuff, but I filmed the pros. Estonia that was there. Got a lot of really good stuff then, in a straight up practice session where they had more tries to do hard things. So,
yep.
As I'm able, I'm going to get that put together into a little edit.
Did you hit any tricks that you were going for that you finally broke through on?
Sort of. It was kind of funny. One thing that I did for my 51st edit, I didn't get it exactly the way I wanted it, but I landed it. But in the pre-jam, I managed to hit it exactly how I wanted it.
Yeah.
After not really having tried it much for a few months, that was kind of cool. And I did learn a couple new tricks. Definitely got some good tips from guys.
I was going to say that's probably a really good opportunity to start learning from others.
The last thing I was there, really good attention. For worked on pieces of it, but it kind of takes some commitment. Basically doing a parallel bar jump backwards though. So I sucked it a couple of times. Didn't quite get it, but at least I got through it.
Yep.
But I came away unscathed.
Nice, man. That's good.
Few shin scrapes, but outside of that, nothing. No damage.
How is it falling at this point, in your career? Have you already had a tolerance to it? You built it up since you were young?
I've you hear soccer players talk about, your shins get smashed. I've smashed my shins all these years. It hurts, but they're kind of, I don't know. It's not, you're used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't, I feel like I don't smash them as much as I used to, actually. Yeah. Interestingly, I am more, I crash and get tangled less than I used to, even though I'm still trying new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I do more jump and I do more things with commitment, oddly enough, that I'm older than I did when I'm younger. I'm less tentative, not more tentative, which is weird, but for whatever reason.
Interesting. Something,
Yeah.
something to maybe think about, like why at this point, obviously there's experience within the movements, but like if you're still pushing the boundaries of what you can do, it's interesting that you're not actually eating shit nearly as much. So
It must be years of accumulated. Or the other thing, I mean, I have so much better joint control, and
that could
all
be it.
the years I deviated into training more.
Yep.
I have built some capacities that I never had. The other nice thing was, I mean, in spite of riding, sometimes 4.5, 5 hours on a couple of days, I felt fine the next day. Little joint mobility
Cool.
session every morning. I never was sore or worked. So obviously
sick.
all the build up and the aerobic capacity through the years has paid off well. So, and getting good sleep, good rest on vacation. I didn't have any of the usual stuff to steal some recovery. So.
Yep. Cool. We got anything else there, Scott?
For today, had some neat new training ideas around nervous system, neurotransmitters, and things like that. That maybe we can get into.
Yes, I think that'd be
next
something.
go.
Yeah, definitely. Let's write that down, and we'll start picking up from there. I have some things that I'm going to be working on as well, going into the Open and also after the Open as well. So, definitely a lot to talk about.
Touch base on that. Yep,
absolutely.
Positional isometrics is another thing down the line.
I like
dig
it.
into a little bit. So.
I like it. Perfect. Cool. Well, I'm Sean
Awesome.
LaFlock. You can get me at Sean@CrossFitDarterBeach.com.
Scott Hagnes, you can get me at Scott@CrossFitPortland.com.
All right, Scotty. I'll see you next time, brother.
All right. Have a good week.
Later, dude.